Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I've been inspired by a message that my friend Jill just met with her response back to a Voxer message that I sent her, and I feel compelled to share this message. So here we go, sister. Here it is. It's about you, and it's about fucking time. Now, I voxed that to my friend Jill, saying, like, hey, this is... Because she'd voxed me saying, like, hey, like, you know, where are you at with business for, you know, this year and everything else in life? And Jill and I are really close. We met through our coaching program, Shield Maiden, over a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. And it's really connected. She's awesome. Love you, Jill. And you're listening. You need to also go listen to her podcast, which is called Ninja Jill Knows. She is a fucking ninja. Go subscribe and listen to her podcast right now. I'll put the link in the show notes. But I said that to Jill, and I said, you know, this is the year where it's about me and it's about fucking time. Because there's been a lot of things that I've been dealing with in my life, from juggling all sorts of businesses and, you know, having to be the one to take over in our practice when my husband was not able to any longer be in practice. And I did that happily. There was no, you know, when I share some of these things of how my life was, like, those were my choices. It was my choice to do that. It was my choice to jump into network marketing. It was my choice to coach, to do this podcast, right? Life is all about choices. This is not about victim and, oh my God, people have done me wrong and like, fuck them. Now it's about, no. And just so you know, if that is your story, sister, you need to drop that shit. That does not serve you in the least. Not at all. But I want you to really hear this when I'm saying that it's about you. It's always been about you. And, you know, there's this thing as women, right? Like, my mom's generation, I thought it died with that. No. Didn't die with my generation. Didn't die with the generation of women I hear that are in their 30s. Because I'm 40, almost 48. That are women that are in their 30s and in their 20s. And there's still, like, a lot of this thick guilt and shame and all these shoulds of how you think you're supposed to show up in the world. And taking care of yourself first, you know, generations later is still deemed as selfish and, you know, you don't give a shit about anyone else. And this whole, like, martyrdom thing of, like, just running yourself into the ground. Look at that mom. Oh, my God. She's, you know, she's at the gym and she's, you know, making all the craft stuff for the kids and doing all these desserts late night and cupcakes for the birthday parties and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And listen, I know what is really going on because I've spoken to a lot of those women because they search me out. Because they find me. And it's crazy. It's always the same. It's always the same. I have no idea how I found your podcast. I searched for something. Your podcast came up. I started listening, and holy shit, I felt like you were talking to me. So these women find me somehow. This might be describing you. And listen, this may or may not be describing you what I'm going to say next. But for a lot of these women, I know what's really happening inside the four walls of their house, and it's not good. They are stressed out of their fucking mind. They're drinking a bottle of wine at night. They're pouring themselves into fitness instead. They're completely disconnected from their husband. One or both of them is cheating. They feel like the shittiest mom, wife, human being on the planet. But yet, on the outside, everything's perfect and rosy. And I'm not saying you can't have those things. Like, listen, I live and I preach this lifestyle. Look, you can have a hot, passionate marriage where you feel connected with your husband. You can be a kick-ass fucking mom. You can be killing it in your business, and you can be really clear about what you want and what your purpose is in your life. You can have all these things, sister. But the thing is for a lot of these women, the appearance is on the outside, that it's all about other people. And it is. That's how they're living their life. And thinking that, aren't they so wonderful, right? They get the societal pat on the back, the high five, the, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're like Mother Teresa. You're like Oprah. You're like, right? All these kind of things. And meanwhile, inside, that is a woman who is not caring for herself. She's exhausted, like beyond fucking exhausted. because it's been years of this, and she feels stuck. And maybe this is you, sister. It feels like there's no way out of this, that this is the way that life is. Go to work, run the business. Maybe you run the business from home, take care of kids, maybe kiss your husband every once in a while, maybe occasionally have sex, go on vacation once a year, pay the bills, like a robot in life. And yet, everything looks great on Facebook, right? So here's the deal, sister. I'm going to encourage you to really hear this. Listen to this episode a couple times. Like, it's about you. You know all this shit, right? But to be completely honest and real, which you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that this is how I am. This is how I roll. This is me. Is to be completely transparent and honest about all these things. Is that I truly didn't really get this till maybe last summer. It was about 5 months ago. So we were just, we're driving here to Victoria, BC right now, live from Alberta. We had sold our house and a lot of the stuff that we had in as well too. Sold a car that we didn't need. So we're we don't need 3 cars because now we're both working from home. We closed the doors of our chiropractic office after having it in the market for a little bit over a year and could not find a buyer and said, fuck it, I'm tapping out. I left my network marketing business, left all the support of everything that we knew in Alberta and driving here because when people would ask me, and it seemed like it happened so fast, and it did, right? We came down in May of last year to look around. We were on, so Victoria's on, if you're not Canadian, you're not familiar with Canada. So this is in BC, British Columbia. It's the furthest west province. So we are directly above California on the map. And so Victoria is actually on an island. Okay, so it's a big ass island. So we were looking at Victoria or a whole part of the island called Nanaimo and some different kind of little cities in between. Victoria is actually also the capital of BC, British Columbia. And so we came out here in May and said, well, let's just kind of see where we want to live. And it became clear it was Victoria. We then got back home and I think we put our house on the market. We started talking to realtors down here. We thought we were going to buy, went through all the mortgage stuff and kind of quickly realized that, man, this is a shit show to try to time the closing of one house and the closing of a house in a completely different province, which for you, if you live in the U.S., that's also equivalent to a state. And so we're we're going to rent, but who's going to rent to us? And so we found this beautiful house. And, it kind of seems and then all the parts and pieces of closing a practice, dude, this was the enormity. I mean, I kind of forget of everything that went into that. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it's a lot of fucking steps. It's not a business like others. We just go oh, we're done, we're closed. I have patience. I have a governing board that says you must find a home for these people to be. I have people that either owed us money or had a credit and we had to pay that back. I mean, it just was so many parts and pieces. It was complex. And then we got here to Victoria. So we're driving in our car 2 days to get here to the island from where we used to live in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. And we move in this beautiful home. 2 days later, my husband's mom passes away. And he's on a plane to Ontario. And, dealing with all the emotional stuff of that, of course. And then all the legal stuff and all the decisions he had to make. But yet, within all of that, I was I finally got it. We had this month. We now had the month of August. We had our kids home with us because we just moved, right? We didn't have access to a daycare yet. We're just kind of figuring stuff out because we didn't really know Victoria all the way. We'd been here I think twice, maybe 3 times. I think twice though. And so I was you know what? I'm just going to choose this time to start taking care of me, spend time with the kids. We can do a couple hours of business each day. We'll figure it out. We'll kind of flip back and forth with Ed and I, but then Ed was gone for chunks of time with his mom's passing. And then it got to, I'm okay, I'm going to find a boxing trainer because I really love that. Found a yoga place nearby, which I had no plans to go back to, but I started back and because it was so close, and I was just man, I love this. Started getting on a regular chiropractic care again. Started really dialing down my nutrition. Just everything has been coming together, and I finally realized this, which is, man, if I really take care of me, if it's me first, As I put in a post on Facebook recently, it's me first for the win. Everything else comes together. My marriage is better. I show up better as a mom. I'm better in my body, therefore I have more energy. I adapt to stress better. I move better physically throughout my day. I adapt to emotional stuff, stress better. My business is better. I show up and live as I teach my clients. And it's not as if I wasn't doing that before, but it's at a depth now that I'd never experienced before. Because I decided and I chose and I see now that it's me first. And it's you first too, sister. It's always been you first. But do you see this? Like, see, there's going to be some of you who listen to this episode right now, yeah, but who's going to take care of the kids and my work and and when do I have time and I'm exhausted? It's like, I get it. I used to run all the stories too. With love, sister, you can make anything happen in your life that you want to create. It might not be happen because you snap your fingers and you will it. That shit doesn't happen. Or you vision board it. I know I bash on vision boards a lot, but there's so much credo put into stuff about thinking about it and manifesting it. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have some girth to it, has some substance, law of attraction, all that. But there's so much focus on the thinking and the planning. It's like, just fucking start doing. You don't want to know how to manifest? Fucking do shit. That's how you manifest. You move. You move. You take action. You do. But this could finally be the year for you too, sister, that it's about you. So here is your more tip for today. Why don't you take out your journal and for the next 10 minutes, journal about why you matter. Why do you matter? Like, really, go deep on this. Why do you matter? And really see what insights come up. And when you see these insights, and you might do this several times, when you finally start to see something that just really lands, I want you to send me an email to drkaren@drkarenosborne.com and let me know and just share with me what's come up for you. This is big, sister. You might think like journaling, doing these things like, oh yeah, maybe someday I'll do that later. You'll never do it. Or you could literally stop the podcast right now, open up your journal and write at the top, I matter because, and write everything down. Just start writing. Just start writing. There's so much insight and revelation that comes up when you actually put pen to paper. Just like the 6 women that said, hey, you know what? I'm coming to this live event, the ones that did 3 months ago, because it's me first. It's me first. And started to really ask these questions and did the deep work over 2.5 intense days of my live event. So here's what I want you to do for you to really see this. I want you to see what's possible. Just like what was possible with Miranda, Colleen, Maggie, Leslie, Natalie, and Amber. And you can really see their experience. So you're going to head over to drkarenosborne.com/live event, enter in your name and email. You're going to get immediate access to the movie. It's just under 7 minutes. And then interviews with the women afterwards to see, well, what still transpired after you left the live event 4 or 5, 6 weeks later. If you feel called, sister, that it's you first this year, then click that button. I'm telling you right now, it's about 10 days away from my next live event. I'm still taking applications up until about 4 or 5 days before. Because you got to get your ass to Victoria. Shit can happen. You can make your world change. But if you feel called to do this now. And this is honest. This is not marketing bullshit. I don't know when the next one is going to be if I do have one. I love doing these live events. The first one was just like amazing and huge results for these women and so honored to lead them. But I'm going to be honest, it is a fuckload of work. Way easier for me to sit in my house and be on the phone with people and be on a Zoom call and Skype women than to set all this stuff up. But I do this because I know the impact of a live experience. So if you feel called, and again, this is not marketing bullshit. This might be the last one. I don't know for sure, but I'll tell you right now, I don't know when the next one is. If anything, it'll be late in this year in 2017. So there'll be a button there that says click to apply for the next live event. Click on it. You're going to fill the application form. It's 7 questions. And you and I will get on the phone the next 24 to 48 hours and really see if you are a fit. So I will talk the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from me doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.